was telling somebody this the other day, the difference between good and great wrestlers is making adjustments within the match. I'm Thomas Gilman, world champion, Olympic bronze medalist. These are my wrestling tips. There's always going to be negative thoughts trying to creep in, and the philosophy that I have is anything negative that creeps in my mind, it's not from me. You know, to combat that, I just keep positive thoughts in my mind, give myself positive affirmations like I am good, I am great, I'm meant to be here, I am present. Has been really impactful to me. Something I've learned, you know, being around Coach Kale and company is kind of embracing the nerves. You know, they're there for a reason. You know, it's almost like a gift from God. You know, the nerves, you can kind of twist it and say, I'm not nervous, I'm spirited. So when I'm spirited, it means I have heightened awareness, I have heightened strength, conditioning, agility, all these things that can really help me take out my opponent on the mat. I definitely view the older I get and the more I learn, nerves is a good thing, you know, embrace those things. And then dealing with nerves going into, like, let's say a semifinals match or a finals match or a big duel, you know, there's usually a little bit of lag time, you know, between whether it's the weigh-in or between rounds or whatever. So something I like to do is try to get my mind off wrestling. You know, whether that's reading a book, you know, sitting down with one of my teammates, having a cup of coffee, just trying to talk about normal life things, you know, what's going on at home, stuff like that, you know, try to not dwell on what's going to come, you know, and then when it's time, you know, you head to the arena and then it's time to refocus and worry about the task at hand. Some mistakes I made early on from a nutrition standpoint, especially being a little guy and cutting weight, starting in college and so on from there, is not eating enough. Always been good for the most part about what I'm eating, it's just amount of eating. And also hydration. You know, I didn't really realize how important hydration was until maybe middle of my college career. When you're young, 18, 20 years old, you can get away with certain things. But as you get older, your body adjusts and you got to make those adjustments with it. So my biggest thing would be, you know, make sure you're not only just eating the right things, but enough of those right things. As far as specific foods, this is the question I always get, well, what do you eat? Anything and everything, it's within moderation, right? I eat avocados and berries and yogurt, but some people are lactose intolerant and they're allergic to avocados, so they can't eat that. You know, so there's plenty of substitutes for those things. You know, you can just go on the internet, it's a great resource. You know, what can I sub for a good fat that's not an avocado? I think the biggest mistakes young wrestlers make, from my perspective, and that I've made in my wrestling career, is putting too much emphasis on winning and competing and not actually getting better at wrestling. I think that you see a lot of kids, you know, you see it over and over, they're super good when they're young and done a good job of finding their niche. You know, they're good at 2 or 3 things and they just kind of bully people and they beat a lot of guys and they win a lot of, you know, Tulsa Nationals type tournaments. You know, when they're young and then they get older and then they realize, oh shoot, I'm actually not that good of a wrestler. I'm a good competitor, I can win, but I don't know how to really wrestle. You know, I don't know how to make adjustments within the year or the week, or I was telling somebody this the other day, the difference between good and great wrestlers is making adjustments within the match. You know, just putting too much emphasis on winning, competing, and not progressing your art. I think the biggest thing that's helped me in my career is watching film. I think it's something that the best guys do on a daily basis. I mean, there's just so many matches out there, the access to the internet and YouTube and the UWW site, because there's not enough time in a day to go through every single position that there possibly is, but you can be familiar with a lot of positions just by watching. You know, I used to watch Satiev a lot. You know, he's kind of a very different style than me, but I liked the way he wrestled because he did some big moves and he was very funky and he just scored a lot of points. And so I like to watch him and like see some of these lace leg positions and different things that he did. You know, the way he would kind of dance around and get the guy kind of just stand around and snipe him a little bit. So watching film, you know, that's the biggest thing. It's a lifestyle, you know. People make fun of me all the time to this day, but I carry my bags everywhere I go. So we're going on a trip. I don't have a roller bag. I have roller bags, but I don't use them when I travel. I carry my backpack and I carry my bag. You know, people say, oh, well, that's hard to carry your bag. It's like 50 pounds. Yeah, it's hard, but it's a lifestyle. You know, you can get stronger without doing strength training. You carry your 50-pound bag through the airport, that's an arm burner. You know, so you're getting that much stronger on the way to or from the competition. You know, so I always think about that. I was doing these things long before Liver King was making it popular. You know, he's carrying his family's bags. You know, I'm not an internet sensation, but I was doing that long before it was popular. And the other thing, take the stairs, because you're conditioning your legs that much more. If you're parked in the parking garage and you got practice that's a quarter mile away, just hit a jog. You get there faster, and you're already warmed up a little bit, and your conditioning is just that much better. So those are some things that you can do outside the wrestling room. That's an intimate one. I think the biggest advice I'd give myself is just be more humble. Be more willing to learn from people that aren't my coaches. I had a lot of opportunities. I was around a lot of good wrestlers, my entire life, and I didn't really take advantage of, let's say my contemporaries. So that's the biggest piece of advice I'd give myself is just be humble and be willing to learn from everybody.